Hey YouTube, we're here today with a battery repair. As you can see, we've got this Nanotech battery, inexpensive battery that I got from Hobby King, and you can see it's got a compatibility number, that EFLB 2002S25. That's basically the exact part number from E-Flight, or Horizon Hobby, if you will. Okay, when I disconnected this battery today, and you can see I've done some safety measures to try to ensure that I get a good life out of these batteries. One of these measures that I do is just the simple fact that I put hot glue on the end. Now that does help a little bit, but as you can see, it didn't help enough, at least in this case. So what's going on here is obviously one of the two wires popped out of the balance lead. Balance charger. Plug. So what you got to do is, you got to make a decision. Do I want to put a different plug on here? Eliminate the balance charger port? Or do I want to try to fix this? So you have to answer that question before you continue. Obviously I put hot glue on here, so that's going to complicate things a little bit. I'm going to show you how to deal with that. You can see it's got a good connection. The hot glue, that is, has got a good bond to the connector itself. You do need to do all this stuff with the understanding that you're dealing with live power. If you make a mistake, you might burn yourself badly. You might burn your house down. You might burn your tools. You might burn your bench, whatever it is. So just be careful. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you about safety. You guys know how to take care of yourselves, but just be careful. That's all I'm saying. I've been burned on batteries before. Funny thing is, it was a 300 milliamp 1S. And I pulled the end out, and it bit me. It looked like a really small snake bit me. And it charred over so fast that I ended up throwing it into the sink thinking it was going to catch on fire. But it didn't short out after that. Once the reaction happened, it burned itself so bad it went away. So the contact couldn't be continued because it had charred over so bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some safety precautions here. Probably just going to grab a little piece of tape. We're just going to cover up that positive line. Obviously that red is going to be the positive side of one of the two cells. Just got a little piece of white electrical tape here that I had stuck to the case that I have my white electrical tape in. And so that's going to protect that from contacting anything while we're working on the other two. And remember, if you pull these out, you're going to have to deal with it, so be careful. First thing I'm going to try, and guys, I haven't done this before, I'm just trying it as we go. I fixed a lot of Lipos, but just not this particular size or style. So cut that. What you're trying to do is just get that hot glue out of there. And as you can see, it's a little bit on the tricky side. You can see where that wire is ripped off into there. So once you get hot glue started, then a lot of times you can just kind of follow it and it'll just keep ripping off. And then of course the alternative choice would be to grab a hot knife and try to cut it off in that way. I'm also experimenting today on this video with another method of filming, using this white backdrop. I'm going to see if it helps a little bit, or if it helps a lot, or if it helps at all, or if it makes it a huge pain in the butt and I can't handle it. I want to try to improve my quality of videos while not making it so freaking impossible to film, you know, so you guys can get a little bit out of it and I can keep producing better work every time. Okay, so you can see I'm getting down there. I do want you to see real footage, guys. This is just what I do because I really like doing it. And also I just don't have unlimited money, so I can't just go out and buy a new Lipo every time one freaks out on me for some stupid reason. Ah, look, there we go. Okay, sweet. So I got that off of there, mostly. Just going to carefully peel it. Yep, there we go. So we got that hot glue off of there. And I'm not going to sit here and say that hot glue was a bad idea. It was a great idea. It worked really well for a long time. In fact, I'm going to plug in the hot glue gun and I'm going to do it again when we're done fixing this. And I'd recommend you do it if you want to try to lengthen the life of your lipos, because these two leads, they will eventually break there. Okay, so what you're going to do is, just like with a servo lead, you can actually lift this up. And the difference is a servo won't burn you or catch on fire. I'm just going to lift this up, and I'm just going to try to get that terminal out of there. But this is going to be a little tricky, because you don't want to jump over to the other terminals. So you do have to be kind of a lot more careful on this. Try to keep this right in picture, guys. Because you have to push that back. Okay, there we go. So there, it just came out. Okay, so let's study this. The size, the shape, the orientation of the pins. That is fancy dance, right? Now I have this tool here, guys, that's designed for kind of like, it's a Hobby King tool. And it's got a crimper on the end. And this crimper is designed to crimp on solderless ends. Okay, that's nice. So let's just compare this to a servo lead, because, you know, I mean, obviously they're similar style, but obviously this one is quite a little bit bigger. So that won't work, obviously. We can't just use a servo end. And the other thing we could do that's a possibility is we could take and just try to resolder this lead, because this is a solderless style connector. That's going to be tricky. One thing I found in my years of doing electrical work is that if you try to solder this, I'll point what's going to happen. You're going to be sticking the wire on this end. It's going to wick. You're not going to have a good relief on the actual cable itself. You're going to have a decent connection for your electronics. But then what's going to happen is that solder is going to wick up into this area. And it's going to make it very difficult. It's going to make it very difficult to keep solder from going in there. So that's a for sure thing we could do. The other thing we could try is we could pause it, and I'll show you my other option. Okay, so here's my other option I was thinking about. Is keep all this little connectors and junk like this that I keep everything, just ask my wife. Here's a connector that's clearly not the same style. And so, oh, but look at that. Look at that. That might actually be the E-flite size. I can't tell. Let's look at them close. Okay. Sorry, it keeps moving, guys. That is not the same, is it? See, that's a bigger connector. That's close. What you could do is you could try to plug this in to the correct female connector, and that would tell you if it's the right one. Oh, look in there. Look, guys. I found one. Ah, looky. Oh, that one's all screwed up in there. I wonder what the heck happened there. Well, let's try to pop it out. There's that nasty brown mark on it. I wonder if it got caught on fire or something. Nah, I doubt it. I would never do such a thing. I bet I tried to solder it together, but I must have sucked on that one. So I'm going to actually take this X-Acto knife. Now, this is not a live lead, so it's not going to be an issue if it, you know, there's nothing to short here, guys. Pay attention to which direction these come out to. There's a tab that goes the right direction. That's going to tell if you got it in the right orientation there. Son of a gun. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that up, because it's broken anyway. Get out of there, you little turd. So you can see why people don't do this, because when you're dealing with a live battery, it's a little bit trickier. But I'm hoping to do this without having to deal with a live battery the whole time. Guys, I'm going to get this out of here and then I'll unpause it. Okay, guys, welcome back to my epic failure. Basically, this thing decided to rip eventually. Big surprise, because it wouldn't come out. I don't know why. I'm just going to take the black one now. It's not really that big a deal, I guess. It's already a broken connector, but pushing the black wire forward so that I don't get the tab. There's a small little tab there that keeps it in place. I'm pushing this forward so that I don't catch that. You see how it's opening up a little bit? So I'm going to take this knife. And guys, this knife that has a really sharp tip is still too big to get in there almost. So just to give you some idea of how much of a pain in the drawers this is. So we'll just pull that back. Ah, yes, looky, looky, looky. What do we have here? We have what's going to fix my battery. So now what I got to do is basically strip this back, make a nice connection that's going to be sturdy. And how we're going to do that is very straightforward. We're going to take this thing, we're going to secure this with our whole finger pad, and then we're going to strip back just a little bit, okay? Notice that I said my whole finger pad, meaning I want as much contact area as I can to keep that connection there. That's all I care about. This stuff I can use up the whole length if I wanted. Then I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to just pay special attention to how much length I'm needing to take off. I want to basically lose that amount, or you're going to always have a pain in the butt every time you plug this battery back in. Okay, and then I'm going to strip this. And I know what some of you are thinking, well, you didn't fix that battery, Brian. Well, you're right, I didn't. I just found another battery and used the part because that was my objective. I'm going to get some heat shrink. I'll be right back, guys. Alright, guys, check this out. Got this awesome yellow heat shrink. Not the color I was going for. I was going for red. I was hoping to cover up the little black bit. I just don't want to have any confusion about which one's ground and which one's power. So I'm going to slide that yellow all the way up. Okay, there we go. You can actually see now. This is so much easier. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking these two wires, and instead of doing a hook like I a lot of times do, I'm going to maximize surface area by forcing those together. Just like that. That's all I'm going to do in that axis. And then I'm just going to wiggle and push just a little teeny bit. And some of them are going to want to flip over, and that's okay. That's okay. They want to be a pain in the butt. That's fine with me. Oh, hey, good news, guys. You'll be the first to know if you're watching this awesome video. Talk to Horizon Hobby. They're going to send me a replacement plane. Not a Viking, because the Viking's out of stock. What they're going to do is they're going to send me a Cessna 182, which is going to be awesome, and I'm excited about that. Plus, it was a little bit more expensive than the Viking, because the Viking I got was on sale, and so I appreciated them doing that. Did you guys appreciate how I just undid that work by dropping that tip? I didn't. I'll pause it. Alright, guys. Got it back together. Look at that. Look at that awesome connection. Strip back a little bit more, too. Okay, so I gotta lay this down. I'll zoom in so you can possibly maybe think about seeing. Oh, yeah, there we go. This backdrop is kind of cool. I noticed it was like a monitor screen or something I had lying around. And it really does great with lights, and I'm going to drip some solder all over it and ruin it. Ooh, you guys get the smoke cam. Alright, cool. So now, remember, we're dealing with a live battery, so if I were to do this on, you know, right up next to the cells, it could probably not be really a great idea, because you'll be heating that up, and it might cause a adverse chemical reaction. So be careful. Not on this little tiny cell. I'm talking about a big battery. And by the way, did I mention if you guys hurt yourself doing this? Sorry you did that. It was stupid. Alright. Bringing out some flame power. We're just going to heat that up. Ooh, you get the heat cam. That's pretty cool. Alright, then just grab this thing and pay special attention to what side the pin is in terms of it coming down. You see that little pin that's pointed right here? That little thing? Here, how about we do it this way? You see that little pin? That little thing right there? You want that pin to be going upward in this case. So, like that. Slide it in. Booyah. She's a done deal. The only thing is, look at that stupid length. Look what I did to myself, guys. What a joke. I really wish I would have been more careful on the length of that. But you remember when I said I stripped back a little bit more? I wonder if I shortened it a little more than I expected originally. Not a big deal. But what I'm going to do to remedy that, because what's going to happen is over time, this is just going to break right there. So what you want to do is probably go ahead and get your glue in there first of all. So I've got my hot glue gun here on the low setting. That was stupid. I should have had it on the high setting. I'll just leave it on the low setting for extra dramatic effect. Okay, little glue. Little glue. Wrap the string around. And you're probably thinking, geez, Brian, you waited forever to touch that with your wet fingers. And yes, I did. That was on purpose, sort of. What I'm going to do with this thing now is I'm just going to... I'm probably going to leave it. I kind of like the way it turned out. I'll just trim the edges off. Remember, weight is our enemy in an airplane. But that doesn't mean that we want to take, you know, any mechanical strain release out of our equipment. We want this battery to last a while too, because batteries are not free, I've noticed. Okay, so you see how this always favors to one side? That's actually fine. That'll be fine on most of my applications. So one thing you could do if you were in concern is to slip a bit of heat shrink over that, and it would actually keep it so that you relieve the strain before it gets down to where it's going to break off. But you don't have to do that, obviously. It's probably going to be fine the way it is. Anyway, guys, that's how you do it. Now I can probably wipe these question marks off. But she's ready to rock and roll. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you love watching my 20-minute videos about doing simple tasks.